All right, guys, today going to be working on this 4840. Already doing a bunch of repairs on it. Got some other videos about it. Right now, we're going to be replacing the exhaust elbow because it leaks real bad. And when you're in the cab and all that stuff, working it pretty hard, you get pretty full of fumes and all that stuff. It leaks pretty bad. And as we're working on this exhaust elbow right there, we're also doing some repairs to the fuel tank. We got it draining right there, so that's what that noise is in the background. But the problem with this right here, from the turbo to the exhaust elbow right here, you can see this is pretty loose, slides back and forth. It's supposed to have a little bit of play in it, that way when it heats up it seals, but this is just way too much. And you know, it never seals up. You can see black soot all over the engine, and it gets pretty bad. So bought all this brand new. I'm gonna be replacing this elbow right here, taking these 4 bolts out. I bought this brand new, and then there's a little trick to get these to seal up nice and tight and pretty much to stay nice and tight, so I'm gonna show you all that too. So all right, guys, got all the bolts out. There were 3 bolts up here holding it on in this bracket, and then these 4 down here, and ran into a little bit of a problem. Broke this one off, but it's not that bad. It's sticking out, so I'm gonna show you all a way that I'm gonna get it out real quick. I'm gonna take this off right now and compare this old one to the new one. All right, guys, here's the old one, and it actually looks like at one time somebody tried to patch it or something like that. They put some weld on it, so maybe it was already leaking before real bad or something. Looks like they tried to use some gasket sealer or something too, but you can see how much eaten up it is right there. You can see all this play, real bad. Here's the new one, and you can see, I mean, I can't even move that. It's a nice tight fit, so a lot better. But here's also a trick. These are asbestos gaskets. They go to a John Deere 4020, and they fit right in there. They can handle the heat extremely well, and it puts a little bit more pressure on there. And also, as it gets hot, as it warms up, these expand a little bit too. So you know, does a real good job of sealing it up once it does get a little bit of play in it. But you know, that has very little play with that gasket in there. So little hint right there. If you have an exhaust leak on these 4000 series, go to John Deere, get you those asbestos exhaust muffler gaskets for a 4020. So all right, that's the bolt that I broke off, but it's sticking out just a little bit. So all I'm gonna do is take this nut, and you can actually thread it on there just a little bit like that, and then I'm gonna weld it right there, and hopefully with the heat and everything, that it's gonna come on out. So we're gonna give it a try right here. All right, guys, I already made a video on you know, how I weld these nuts to like rounded off bolts and stuff like that to get them out. So this is no different about how to weld your ground. I got my ground welded right here to the exhaust manifold, as close to it as possible. That way there's no arcing inside the engine or anything like that. I got the nut twisted on there just a little bit, and I'm gonna weld the inside of that right there, and hopefully it twists on out of there. So here we go. Ended up having to go with a little bit bigger nut on this one. The first one twisted off, and twisted off about 2 or 3 times, and finally got it on the 3rd try. Also had to use some PB blaster, but still a little warm. But there it is. Just weld it one side, and then it comes on out. Nothing special, but that's about it. Threads are still good. Boogered up the end just a hair, but it still works. So all right, guys, finished up with this tearing apart this exhaust elbow and everything. Got the bolt out. I'm gonna replace it all with brand new grade 8 bolts. So I gotta run to town to get that. Also need some anti-seize, because I'm gonna put anti-seize back in there. That way, if it ever does have to come off or something like that, hopefully it'd be a lot easier. That one won't twist off or have problems later on. So gotta run to town and get some parts, and then I'll be back and hopefully finish this up today. All right, guys, fixing to go back together with this exhaust elbow and everything. Got the anti-seize and the threads. I got this little asbestos gasket. It just goes right up in here like that. One goes on each side, and then we have this little collar that also goes in there, and then the exhaust elbow goes on the other side, right here. Gonna grab it, start putting the bolts together, and then give y'all a little update. All right, got the exhaust elbow. Here's another asbestos gasket. Like I said, these are used on a John Deere 4020 for the muffler, but they work perfect for sealing these up. So I'm gonna put one right there. One's already on the other side, and then I'm gonna slap it all back together. Hey guys, tried to go back in with this exhaust elbow, but the threads in there were pretty gummed up and nasty, so I had to tap them all, clean them up pretty good, and also being that it's a brand new exhaust elbow and that little sleeve that goes in there, it was a pretty tight fit. So I think I'm gonna take one of the gaskets out and just leave that gasket right there that's in the turbo there, and see if it lines up a little bit better, because it was like I said, a real good tight fit, and plus these threads were all gummed up. So I'm tapping them out right now, cleaning them up, and then gonna try it one more time. All right guys, just want to point one thing out that I learned the hard way here, is on this sleeve. As you can see right here, I was having problems with it with the bolts not lining up, and I thought it was the gaskets that I put in there, those asbestos gaskets. But what it is on the sleeve, as you can see, one side is machined and the other side is not. It's still the raw casting. So when you put the raw side in there, it doesn't go all the way in. When you flip it around, it goes in, nice good fit. So that was a problem I was having. So I'm gonna end up putting all the gaskets back in there, and putting this sleeve back in there, and the exhaust elbow, and bolting it all back down together. But that was the problem that I ran into. So if you're replacing this, just make sure that you have the machined inside the turbo there. Exhaust elbow and everything put back together. All the bolts are in, got all those in, and ended up having to put like five of these little gasket washers in there to get it tight. Doesn't have any more play from front to back, but you can spin it, so it does have enough play in there, so when it gets hot, it you know, has room to expand and all that. But took out a bunch of that slop, so hopefully the exhaust doesn't leak, because like I said, all this black soot that's everywhere all over the tractor is it was just bellowing out of here when you were working it. So got all that got that project done, and on to the next one over here. Well, that's it on this exhaust elbow project. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell. Stay tuned, because there's going to be a lot of projects on this old tractor, trying to get it up and going, and do a whole bunch of repairs this winter. So when we hit the hay fields, it's ready to go, and we don't have to worry about breakdowns and all that. So Scarecrow with Red Dirt Welding, y'all take care, and God bless.